Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going to go over some budget cards in NHL 22. These are cards that I think are completely forgotten about. No one really takes the time to go through all of the individual stats for a lot of these cards, and most of them are going to be some unknown names from minor league teams. I want you guys to pay attention and just kind of bring this up for anyone that's newer to the game. Whenever they come out with new content, let's say prime times or even team of the weeks, and you see a card that you might not ever look for. So let's see these fast forward ones, for example. If you're not someone who watches Major Junior or some of the European leagues, you might not know who Luca Pinelli is, for example. But the thing you need to remember about these cards is that their base card are silver. And the reason why that is super impactful is because when they drag their attributes up to 81, and a lot of these you'll see around like 84 and 85, they just basically plop on 10 to every stat. And because silver cards, they need to give them decent skating to actually just be able to skate, you see some really interesting builds, and people just don't realize it because they don't know the player. So I want to talk about that and some of the underrated builds. And I also want to discuss some X factors in future cards. All right, let's get into it. All right, we're going to start with the 84 Jordan DUMAIS from the Halifax Mooseheads. Okay, so 5'9", 174, not ideal. All right, if you are playing in Division 1 or 2, he is going to get thrown around all over the place. However, if you're someone who plays mostly squad battles, or maybe you play in the lower divisions, this is definitely a usable card. I'll explain why. Elite Edges, guys, I've said this every single video, essentially. It is one of the best abilities in the game. But then take a look at his skating and some of his other attributes. He's only an 84 overall, remember. He's got 91 speed, 91 acceleration, and 97 agility. 97 agility with Silver Elite Edges basically makes him skate like Connor McDavid. His ability to cut left and right, like this is a Pavel Datsyuk build. On top of that, his shot power, because it's a little bit higher on the silver card, is jacked up to 95, and he's got 87 accuracy on the slap shot, 88 on the wrist shot. Deking, that's at 92. Now everything else, it's an absolute disaster. His body checking is 77, and his defensive awareness is 74, meaning that you're not intercepting anything. So you have to remember that, like, this is going to be a liability in your own zone. But if you're just starting out the game, I saw this card on the market for 10,000 coins. I would take this over almost over every single base card that isn't Connor McDavid, and you can get him for dirt cheap and a really, really fun, effective card. Next, for 15,000 coins, we've got the 84 Matt Duchene. Booming shot as well as elite edges, 91 speed, 90 acceleration, 88 agility. Same sort of build as Jordan DUMAIS. However, he's much better in terms of body checking, especially with booming shot activated, and defensively. Even if you're elite, and if you're elite at the face-offs, he's got 80 on the draw, which is passable. This card's only going for 15,000 coins, like I said, and it'll help you out with your milestones. I think Duchene is just forgotten about, but he's been one of the best HUT cards for the last, like, 5 years. All right, moving on, we've got the 87 HUT 23 Dylan Larkin with Thief and Backhand Beauty. Dylan Larkin cards have been some of the best in the game this year. 92 speed, 92 acceleration, mid to high 80s shot, hand stats all around 90, and then defensively, he's got 94 defensive awareness and 86 on the draw with Thief activated. This is a great centerman, going to give you lots of lineup flexibility. He's only going for 50,000 coins. There is not many other cards I'd rather have in my lineup than this Dylan Larkin, outside of the master sets and the X factors and those kinds of players. This is a phenomenal card for 50,000 coins. This is now going to be one of the best buys for the rest of the year. Base Connor McDavid is going for about 75,000 coins. This should be the first big purchase you make if you are no money spent, or if you're just starting out your team. The reason being is that you really can't find 94 speed and acceleration anywhere in the game that's a player for 6'1" for under 100,000 coins. His shot's in the high 80s, his hand stats are all around 93, and you can play him at center as well. He's much more effective on the wing. His price will continue to fall a little bit before it kind of settles in around 50-60K for about a month or two. So this is a phenomenal card, and it should be one of your first purchases. Looking for a big defenseman, 86 Team of the Week Dougie Hamilton's going for about 30,000 coins, has Protector and Seeing Eye. Seeing Eye is not all that impactful, but a 6'6" defenseman with 87 speed and 88 acceleration is huge, and I'll explain why. It's not just his size, but it's his reach. I think a lot of people forget that Taller the player, longer the stick, and you're able to just cover so much more of the blue line, denying zone entries, things like that, or your ability to just knock players off the puck. He's got 88 defensive awareness. I would try and get Protector on this card. It's one of the better non-skating synergies, but for 6'6" and 87 speed, that's a huge value right there, and for only 30,000 coins, he should be one of the first non-master set defensemen that you target. All right, guys, I want to talk a little bit about X Factors because I feel like I haven't addressed it a lot, and we are coming up on Team of the Year. I will have a video coming out this week that'll help you with preparing for Team of the Year for anyone that is not aware of what that is. It is essentially an event where you get 6 players that are essentially the best for the prior calendar year, and their card will always go up to whatever the highest rated card is at no extra cost. So unlike X Factors like Connor McDavid here, every time he gets a higher rated card, it unlocks his next tier, and that has a cost to it, and it gets quite considerable as you get into the 90 overall range. Team of the Year cards, they do not have a cost. They just go up and meet the highest overall, which is what makes them some of the best cards in the game. Now, I've mentioned this quite a bit, but there is essentially 4 cards, 4 X Factor cards that I would chase even as a free-to-play player, but only by doing sets, all right? So every time that you get a shot to trade in gold players to do the X Factor set once a month, as well as re-rolling some of the less sought-after X Factors, I would try and do it as much as possible. So, for example, Connor McDavid, 1000% is going to be one of the Team of the Year players. There's no way around it. He is going to get a Team of the Year card, as he should. He's one of the best players in the game. The other one, in my opinion, is CALE MAKAR. CALE MAKAR is locked up for a Team of the Year spot, and he's been really good this year with elite edges on the back end. I've really liked his card, so again, I'd be trying to get CALE MAKAR's X Factor card. Now, the next ones are less certain, but I really think Auston Matthews is going to get a Team of the Year player. In prior years, it has been position locked, so because McDavid is center, Auston can't win because he is center as well, but I have a feeling that they're going to try and move things around. It would just make more sense. It's a marketing event, essentially, and if it's position locked, you're just going to have Connor McDavid and CALE MAKAR every single year, and I don't know if that's like the best thing for excitement for the event, but Auston Matthews alone has been a phenomenal card no matter what. So with these cards, guys, you can upgrade them safely to whatever their highest overall is right now, because when they get Team of the Year, assuming Matthews does, you can trade it in for a significantly reduced cost for that player's Team of the Year, which is huge. The other one would be Nathan MacKinnon, and even if Nathan MacKinnon doesn't get a Team of the Year, getting him up to 89, even if you just left him there, he's got a skating synergy, he's got 95 speed, 93 acceleration, just an absolutely nuts card. One of my favorite players to use this year. Now, in net, it is a lock for Igor Shesterkin. With how Vasilevsky has played to start this year, there's no way that it is not Igor Shesterkin as the Team of the Year. Now, I used his base card early on when overalls were very low, and I loved it, but then overall started to creep up a little bit, and he started letting in a lot more shots before I switched to Markstrom. I never recommend spending a ton on a goaltender, but Igor Shesterkin is definitely going to get Team of the Year, but right now his price is just a little too high. I mean, 220 isn't terrible, but there's no way I would even consider it unless you had an absolutely stacked, loaded team at every position. And the other lock for me is Roman Josi. I think Roman Josi is going to get a Team of the Year card. Thief and Workhorse. I mean, I don't like spending the amount of coins on him right now because I don't think his skating is all that incredible for the cost that you've got to put in, for example. But he is still a very good card. His abilities, I'm not a fan of at all, which is another reason why I'm not huge on upgrading him. But I really don't see how Roman Josi does not get the other defenseman spot. I know a lot of people are going to say Hedman, but Hedman's kind of had a not a bad start to the year, but not a Hedman-like start to the year, and I think Roman Josi edges him out. Also, guys, I want to discuss some of the new Master Set players. So we have hit a point where we've kind of received back-to-back events with roughly the same statted cards, and I know that's met with a lot of mixed feelings, essentially, because we're not getting anything crazy new and exciting, and for the most part, there was cards in the last event, the Milestones event, the Master Set players, that were kind of more enticing, or they were the exact same, Mike Green and McAvoy, for example. Not that they're bad cards, but they're very, very similar. Now, what that does is that it significantly reduces the cost of Master Set players. So, for example, if you go and take a look at, let's say, William Karlsson, guys, it's only costing 150,000 coins to make a Master Set player. all right? If you are going to make one of these cards, go and take a look at the buy now price of some of these master sets that are tradable, because by the time they get knocked out of your lineup, you'll at least be able to receive some coins back, whereas you're kind of locked in the untradeable route. There is a price point at which I don't think it matters. Like if there are over 300,000 coins, you can still trade in the untradeable for event collectibles in the future, but it is at obviously a significant cost. William Karlsson, if it wasn't for quick draw, he's an extremely mediocre card. I've used him. I don't know if you guys saw my video on it. Not a huge fan other than that, because I won every face-off of William Karlsson. But he's going for 215,000 coins. That's not a terrible price for an 89 overall center that has gold quick draw. So just keep that in mind before you go and make one of these master set players that you couldn't spend an extra 60k and get the tradable version. And the last thing I want to talk about is milestones. The reason being, I mentioned this in a prior video, I knew it would happen, is once the new hotness comes out in the spreadsheet hockey event, all right, the new objectives, it seems to be you've got to play 450 games. And what that meant was because the players stack, all these cards had a floor that was very high, around 10,000 coins, and you're seeing it right now with the spreadsheet hockey event to try and get those free event collectibles. But now, because everyone's moved on to that, the HUT milestones collectibles or cards are very cheap. You can get them for under 5,000 coins. You can fill your whole lineup and then just sell the cards back once you've gotten all of this done. I've also mentioned how to get these objectives done quickly. In games and modes, when it's like Rivals Burst, it's only 2-minute period, so you can get double the games done. And if you got a full lineup of milestone cards, you're going to be able to get this done quickly, and you can go build yourself Zibanejad or Mike Green. So again, just keep that in mind, guys, if you're no money spent, and then just sell the milestone cards that you had back. You're not going to lose that many coins, especially if you're going to get a free master set player. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys want to watch my no money spent team and how I build it and all the cards I go after, make sure you go and check out that series as I display everything that I do. I'm completely transparent with my no money team, and I'll see you guys next time.